Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillahirrahmanirrahim. Puji syukur kehadirat Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Salawat serta salam kita aturkan kepada junjungan kita Nabi besar Nabi Muhammad SAW. Alhamdulillah kita masih dapat bertemu kembali dalam matkul Syntactic. Sebelumnya yang terhormat Ibu pengampu matkul Syntactic, dosen Bu Rahmi, dan teman-teman yang saya banggakan. Okay, first of all, our material is Syntactic, Linkage, and our group or our team are Kartika, Kafania, and Tomi Suwiknyo. So let's get started. The first material will be delivered by Kartika. Kartika, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Introduction. Synthetic linkage refers to the device used by speakers to signal which words can be linked to form a phrase and which phrases can be linked to form coherent clause to linguistic phenomena, agreement, and government. Agreement is found inside noun phrase and in some of the Indo-Europe language of Europe in the copula construction, adjective complements of PBI and other copula verbs agree with the subject noun. 1. Latin A. Magnus Rex, great kings, or the great queen, that the great kings. B. Magna Regina, great queen at the great queen. C. Magnum Oppidum, great town at the great town. The phrase in 1A to C will function as subject of clauses. Rex in 1A, Regina in 1B, and Oppidum in 1C are cited to be the nominative case, the case being signaled by the suffix s, or a, and the adjective translate is great consists of the stem magen as in magnify, to make great, plus various suffix use a and which suffix is added is controlled by the head noun. Magna Rex is incorrect, as is Magnus Regina. The noun in 1A have singular number, different suffix appear both in the nouns and the adjective when they are plural. Next. Next one. Different suffix appear both on the nouns and the adjective when they are plural. 2. Latin Magni Regis, great kings, the great kings. B. Magnae Reginae, great queens, the great queen. C. Magna Oppida, great towns, the great towns. The nouns in 2 are still in the nominative case and can still function as the subjects of clauses, but they are plural and have different suffix, and the adjectives to have different suffix, whether, for example, next one. The nouns A depends on what type of nouns it modifies, what case the noun is in, and whether the noun is singular or plural. That is, the noun is the controlling word, but both noun and adjective change shape, that is, change their suffix. This is why the term agreement is used. The traditional formula is that adjective agree with nouns in number and case, and also is gender, which is discussed below. In spite of the traditional formula, we can view the nouns as governing the adjective in case and number. Next, next, Old English. Old English had similar patterns of agreement between the head noun, a noun phrase, and adjective that modified it. Consider the example: A, good king, a good king; B, good queen, a good queen; C, good ship, a good ship. The noun in 3 are in the nominative case. King in 3A is masculine and ship in 3C is neuter. The adjective in both examples consists of distinct gods with no suffix. Queen in 3B is feminine, and the adjective takes the suffix "u", "go to". A research pattern is observed when the head noun is plural. Next, a research pattern is observed when the head noun is plural. A, a good, good queens, good kings. B, good queen, a good queen. C, good ship, a good ship. The masculine plural noun kings, kinges in 4A is modified by gode with the suffix a. The feminine plural noun quina in 4B is modified by gode with the suffix a. Finally, in 4C, the neuter plural noun siku, sip, is modified by gotu with the suffix u, although the adjective and noun in 3A and 3B do not change their shape, since no suffix are added to the stem. All the nouns and adjectives in 4 do change their shape, since suffix are added to both adjective and noun. Looking at the overall pattern for singular and plural and for other case, we can justifiable pick of adjective and noun agreeing in Old English. Okay, the next material will be delivered by Tomi Suwiknyo.
Alright, thank you, Kartika. So, the next material is government. Government in English grammar can be found in a case. Case refers to the grammatical relationship of noun or pronouns with other words in a clause or a sentence. Next. 5a. Servus, magnum, regem, occidit. A slave, great king, killed. A slave or the slave killed a or the great king. B. Servus, slave, Magnus, great, Regus, king, Ashidid killed. A, or the slave killed the great king. C, Severus Magnan is a slave. Great. Reginan's queen Ashidid killed. A, or the slave killed a great or the great queen. Next. Next, please. Kafania, are you there? Next paper, please. Regem in 5a is the direct object of Ashidid and has the suffix The adjective has the suffix In 5b, reges is the direct object of Ashidid. Is plural and has suffix s. The adjective has the suffix os. In 5c, Reginam is the direct object of Ashidid. Is singular and has the suffix am. The adjective has the suffix regem, reginan, and reges are said to be in the accusative case. Note that reges with the same suffix as is subject in 2a and direct object in 5b, but that the adjective has different suffix. Next. The majority of verbs in Latin assign accusative case to their object noun, but many verbs assign one or other of the remaining three cases. For example, the verb utor or I use governs its object noun in the ablative case. 6a. Rex gladium ponit. King's sword is putting down. The king is putting down the sword. Rex gladio utitur. King's sword is using. The king is using the sword. Next, please. For verb and object noun too, a similar pattern occurs in Old English as demonstrated in 7a. Se earl slow G go dine shining. The warrior killed a good king. B. Se earl slow G go tree knee. The warrior killed a good queen. In 7b, the object noun tree knee with the suffix e is modified by the adjective go d. With the suffix e, this contrasts with the subject noun tree and tree and in 3b with the suffix and modified by adjective go to with the suffix u. In 7a, the noun shining has no suffix, but the adjective does have a special suffix, namely ne as in go, ne. There is no contrast in the suffix add to subject and object plural noun. Next. 8. Say Earl and where did go dam Cynic? The warrior answered a good king. Shining in 8 has the dative case suffix a, e, and go. And go dam has the dative suffix The verb be done wait for. Require in object noun to take a genitive suffix. 9. Se erba di go des shininges. The warrior waited for a good king. In 9, shininess has the genitive suffix s and the adjective go. Des has the same suffix. Preposition in Latin also assign case to their complement noun. At or to governs noun in the accusative case, and d from governs noun in the ablative case. Next. 10. A. At Horton, to the garden. To garden or to the garden. A horto, out of garden or out of the garden. The above Latin examples show that different case number suffix are added to noun and adjective, and that which suffix is chosen is particular clause depend on the noun. Latin nouns fall into a number of different classes, known as genders. Gender will not be discussed here but will examine in chapter 12 on grammar and semantics. Preposition in Old English also require the complement noun to have particular case suffix. For example, to governs in complement noun in the native case, like most preposition. But truth by means of governs is complement noun in the accusative case. The distinction in exemplified in 11. A. To tie am shining or to the king. B. To dawn shining by means of the king. In 11a, ta is dative from form of si ta, and shining has the dative suffix e. In not yet. Back the previous page. Please back to the previous page. 11b. Tone is the accusative from of si, but shining has no suffix. Okay, next. Numbered person linkage. We turn now to the final stand of syntactic linkage in Latin, the relationship between subject, noun, and verb. Consider 12. 12 Latin. A. Rex legit. The king is reading. B. Regis ligan. The king are reading. In 12a, read is singular and the verb like read has the suffix it, which is singular in 12b. Regis in plural and like has the suffix on, which is plural. The traditional formula is that the verb agrees with the subject noun in number and person. Next. Whichever analysis reader favor, the term agreement in number is not accurate either. The subject noun imposes a given number on the verb, or the verb imposes a given number of the noun. That is, both analysis recognize and controlling word, and where there is the controlling word, we are dealing with government. Verb in Latin signal more than just number. Other suffixes are added to the verb stem in Latin. 13 Latin. Epistolam letter. Lego I am reading, or I am reading the, or a letter. Epistolam letter. Legis. Epistolam legis. You are reading. You is singular, are reading the, or a letter. Epistolam legimus letter. We are reading, or we are reading a, the, or a letter. Next. Alright, that's all for me. The next material will be delivered by Kafania Nujhati. Kafania, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. I will next the material. There is syntax linkage in English. Syntactic linkage in English is less complex than in Latin for the simple reason that English nouns no longer have a case system like the Latin one, and English verbs have only one compressive person and number. English uses word, order, and prepositions to signal syntactic links. As discussed in Chapter 8 on grammatical functions, in the active declarative construction, the subject and object nouns are never preceded by preposition. The subject noun is immediately to the left of the verb, and the direct object noun is immediately to the right of the verb. Adjectives modifying a given noun are immediately to its left. Example: Latin. The Latin is Cerberus et nullas hodie petatim. Probus ambres Cerberus and not today. Let him seek Forestius shadows. Let Forestius Cerberus seek no shadows today. The adjective in probus, the second last word in the clause, modifies the first word Cerberus, and the adjective nullas, the third word in the clause, modifies the last word, that is umbras. Note that 14 is a line of poetry. Native speakers of Latin, as far as we can make out, didn't solve of the count in this complex. And then in the English translation, Forestius immediately precedes Cerberus and no immediately precedes shadows. English pronouns have retained some case distinctions, and these are relevant to syntactic linkage. In standard written in English, I, we, she occur as subject, and he, us, him, her, and them occur as direct, indirect, or oblique object. A couple of examples are given in 15, and there are: he told her the whole story, she told him the whole story. The construction in 16 called the contrast. Construction in chapter 3 that have an unusual word order in that direct object or oblique object placed its foot at the front of the clause. For example, the elder plan she rejected out of hand, and B, to her eldest son she left the eldest son at his house. The entire object phrase is moved to the front of the clause, that is the noun and all its modifiers. The noun and its modifiers are next to each other, but The whole noun phrase is in unusual position in the clause. Relative clauses and non-complement clauses, and their chapter 6 and chapter 7, the title is clauses, can and do occur separated from the head noun. Relative clauses and non-complement clauses, the chapter 6 and 7, can do occur separated from the head noun, as in 17. The example, A. The face got broken that Sheila had with all the way from Chengdu. B. The plan was rejected out of hand that traffic should be banned. And C. The idea dismayed the Prime Minister that the dam was down. In 17, the point A, the relative clause that Sheila had proved all the way from Chengdu is separated from its head noun phrase by the face got broken. The face got broken is an intransitive construction, and there is no other noun that might be taken for the head modified by the relative clause. Non-complement clauses can be separated from the noun they modify even in intransitive clauses. The point B poses no problem because it is intransitive, and the non-complement clause that traffic should be banned can only be interpreted as modifying plan. In point C, which reads much more awkwardly than point B, but is nonetheless acceptable. The non-complement clause that the dam was due relates to the content of an idea, plan, proposal, theory, and so on, and can only be interpreted as modifying idea. And then number in English. The person-number relationship between subject verb and noun in English is simple compared with a large number of suffixes in Latin, yet the English system is not straightforward. One complexity is that while we are here focusing on the verb system in standard English, most of the population of the UK speaks some non-standard variety. General in English, nouns in English do not fall into different grammatical classes of the short form in Latin, as we have seen in the discussion in chapter 5 later. On the lexicon, English nouns do split up into classes, but the split is not unrelated to the meaning and is not reflected in syntactic linkage. Example, point A, my sister phoned. She said that the children were back at school. Point B, the weather went out. He said he was going to the bank. And point C, the car is ready. It just needed few points. The pronoun she is used in reference to a female, he to male, and it in reference to an entity that is neither male nor female. In contrast, there is no obvious reason why the Latin noun mensa or table is said to have feminine gender. Noun why hortus or garden is labeled masculine, and oppidum or is labeled neuter. Despite the simplicity of the typical example in 19, English usage is not without its subtleties. It said that some speakers of English refer to cars and boats as though they were female, as in she's a wonderful car, but this usage appears to be falling into this. Similarly, the choice of pronouns for animal is affected by the use of proper names. Example, 19A is perfectly normal. 19B is peculiar. In 19A, the dog slunk under the table. It had eaten the sandwiches is perfectly normal. And 19B, Toaster slunk under the table. He didn't know it had eaten the sandwiches is peculiar. We close this chapter with a reminder that the relation implicated in syntactic linkage are different to see the relation holding between heads and modifiers. Some relation cross boundaries, especially the boundaries of relative clauses, but mostly the hold within single clauses. I will leave to the Tomi. use the presentation from our groups. Thank you very much. If you any question, you can drop the question in the chat box. Thank you very much for attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.